Hello everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel where you are going to master cloud and FinOps. Please hit the bell icon and subscribe the channel so you will get the notification for my upcoming videos. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the cost terminology for containers with respect to FinOps. So as per FinOps framework, if we want to define a standard terminology for containers, so there are four attributes. The first one is the cluster asset cost. The second is workload cost, then cluster overhead cost, and then the final one is the idle cost. So let's discuss like what these three or four different parameters talks about. So usually the cluster is not just the compute, but any cluster or container cluster will have sub resources like load balancers or storage, networking related services, and it could be any other service. So when we are considering all of these cost cumulatively, so that is called a cluster asset cost. So primary objective is to just collect all the cost for all these sub resources. And obviously if we want to monitor this particular cost, so tagging or labeling should be one of the appropriate method to track the cost or cluster asset cost. If we want to achieve this tagging and labeling in an automated way, so nevertheless to say that automation or standardization will help you to enforce this tagging or labeling. Now coming to the workload cost, so it is the cost for running a specific applications, or to be precise, running multiple containers or services for a particular application. So this is including the container cost or the pod cost or any software which is dedicated to that particular application. So again, it is highly recommended that container or pod, that is the part of that particular application, should be properly labeled or tagged. Then only you will able to monitor the workload cost. Now we'll talk about the overhead cost or cluster overhead cost in precise. So usually the container infra or container environment managed both itself as well as its workload. So the more robust fashion you want to manage your container infra, higher the overhead cost will be, right? Because you will spend for monitoring or management of that particular infrastructure. So whatever the cost which you are paying for running the container infra, or the management of that container infra. Management is inclusive of observability, security, or any other shared aspects. So that we called it as a overhead cost. And usually if you want to monitor the overhead cost, the tools would be good option. So even running those tools in your ecosystem will be also considered as a overhead cost. Now, the final terminology or basically final term is ideal cost or idle cost. Cluster idle cost is basically the cost which is for the resources which are not getting properly allocated or not getting utilized. So it is important to understand that overhead cost and idle cost are two different aspects. So idle cost is just the cost for the resources which are not getting allocated properly or not getting utilized. And you can always reduce or avoid this cost via utilizing the best practices or efficiency measure. So that is the reason we need to consider idle cost different than the overhead cost. So that is all about. I wanted to talk via this video all the different terminology as per focus framework which you need to understand for container cost terminologies. So I hope these four terms are clear to you. In case if you have any further query, feel free to put it in the comment section and I will reply your query. And do not forget to press share and subscribe button so that you can get the notification about my upcoming videos. So till the time, stay tuned. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.